Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Gav Major and this is a review of the Japanese premium tier 7 cruiser Azuma. Now she is the end reward of the Yasin Butai campaign if you have Amity backing. Now Azuma is a B-65 cruiser design, or large cruiser design, which was for the Japanese Navy, which started in the late 30s but was cancelled in the mid 40s. For more details in regards to the reasoning behind the design, the development and the technical details, I'd always recommend Draken Finel's 5-minute guide. That'll be carded top right now and also on the end screen, and that is 6 minutes and 25 seconds long, and to be honest it's actually really quite interesting. So this is a tier 6 and 7 game of Domination Tears Desert on the enemy team with an Akatsuki, a Vaquilin, a Fletcher, a Mayuku, a Zara, a Wichita, a Cleveland, Scharnhorst and an Iowa spawned on the right side and going to assist my team. Enemy Cleveland spotted on this flank as well. Going to get our Catapult Fighter launched. So Azuma, she's a large cruiser, but really she's more like a battle cruiser when you consider she's designed to replace the Congo class battle cruisers slash fast battleships, because they started off as battle cruisers and then were refitted. So you have to take that into mind when you consider her. So therefore, when I'm doing the comparison of the stats against the Tech 3 ships, I'm going to compare it to the Tier 7 cruisers and the Tier 7 battleships, and I'll state which class of ship I'm talking in regards to at each point. So let's crack on with the review as we open fire on this Cleveland. So survivability wise, she has a base HP of 52,500 hit points, and she has a HP pool of 74,508 hit points, which is from her free repair party's base. Now her armour is 13mm to 305mm, and her torpedo reduction is 22%. So because she's that large cruiser slash battle cruiser concept, she fits in like as a really good cruiser in the survivability context, or a really poor battleship in kind of battleship context. So obviously she's got very high HP for a cruiser but low HP if you compare it to a battleship. She's got slightly like thinner armour compared to a battleship, compared to thicker armour compared to a cruiser. The torpedo reduction is on par with the Vladivostok and the Bismarck though, which is always worth or quite an amusing thing to note, I should say. Going on to the artillery, we have 9 12.2-inch guns in 3 triple turrets. We have A turret and B turret super firing at the front, and then we have Y turret at the rear. In regards to her traits, all of her traits are in regards to her guns. So she has big guns for a cruiser. Yes, 12.2-inch guns is big for a cruiser. Sure shot, basically her guns have a very flat trajectory, which means she can be quite easier to aim and use. However, it does also mean that island play isn't exactly in her skill set, I guess you could say. And she's also got the Pyromania trait, which I do kind of agree with. The way it's described is that she has an above average HE shell fire chance. That is correct for a cruiser. However, it's not amazing when it comes to the fires per minute. So the range of her guns is 15.8 kilometers, which is it's good for a cruiser, but it's definitely shorter than the battleships for the tier. Her guns have a 26-second reload, which because they're large caliber, they're almost more in par with the German tier 7 premium, the Odin. Same with the 40-second turret traverse. That's terrible for a cruiser, but actually quite reasonable for a battleship, or quite average actually. Regarding the shells, they have a HE shell damage of 4,500, a fire chance of 27%, and a AP shell damage of 8,150. So like for like shells for cruisers, obviously because she has that very large gun caliber, then obviously has a very large damage in regards to that. However, due to her rate of fire and number of guns, her DPM isn't that amazing. I mean, it's competitive if you compare it to battleships, but it's pretty terrible if you compare it to cruisers. Fires per minute is actually quite poor, regardless of whether you compare her to cruisers or battleships. Going on to the torpedoes, this is quite an easy one. She has no torpedoes. Going on to the Maneuverability, she does a top speed of 34 knots base, subject to booster flags and command traits, which is quite a decent amount of speed. She has a turning circle of 920 meters, which is more on par with a battleship, I guess you could say. When you consider that, say, HMS Hood, which is a battle cruiser, has a turning circle of 910 meters. Now, when it comes to the rudder shift, she has a rudder shift on 13.9 seconds, which is quite slow if you want to compare her to a cruiser. However, if you compare her to a battleship, and she's got great rudder shift, I guess you could say. Going on to the concealment, she's got cruiser style concealment, I guess you could say. So she's got slightly better than average detectability by sea for a cruiser. She's got slightly better than worse detectability from the air as a cruiser. However, from fire and smoke, it's pretty poor. It's almost on par with a battleship, and that's really because of the signature of those 12.2-inch guns when firing in smoke. Going on to her consumables, she comes with 2 sonars. Now these are the standard cruiser sonars, so they have a duration of 96 seconds and 180-second reload. Will pick up ships at 4.4 kilometers and torpedoes at 3.1 kilometers. She also comes with 3 Catapult Fighters, and now these have a 360-second duration and a 180-second reload, and has a DPS of 55. I'll actually switch to AP for that Iowa. Now she comes with 3 repair parties, and these heal 262 HP per second for 28 seconds, which means that each repair party should give you 7,336 HP. As always, down in the description will be the commander build and the modules used during this review, but I should let you know that modules wise I've used main battery module 2 and module 3, the reason being is they play off against each other, giving me a buff in regards to turret traverse and rate of fire. And then also using Propulsion module 2 and steering gears module 3, so just to in general improve that rudder shift and to improve the ability to stop and start or change my speed rapidly. Just going to empty the barrels of the AP as the Zara reveals itself to my front. Going to put on my sonar because I know there's a Vacunin. Going to be very awkward to work out how to deal with this Vacunin because I'm very much surrounded. I probably really need to actually turn away and focus on the Zara. Now, as a premium, she does come with a Type 9 permanent camouflage, which has all the same traits as a Type 4 consumable camouflage. That's a minus 4.5% detectability by sea and a plus 4.5% incoming dispersion. No, we did actually penetrate the bow of the Zara quite amusingly there. Now, considering she's Japanese, I'm very surprised that she doesn't actually come equipped with some torpedoes. I'm quite surprised that the Japanese omitted this from the design, considering her purpose would have been to clear destroyer and cruiser screens late at night. Getting some cheeky citadels on the Zara, might be able to mop her up. No. Don't think this game's going to have much legs in it, but we're going to see what we can do. Ah, there we go. Most unfortunate. Oh well, managed to get ourselves 43,000 damage. Nothing great, I have to confess, but at least I was able to focus a bit more on the review and not get too distracted with the game. I've had quite a few attempted reviews so far tonight where I've got so distracted by the game the reviews almost come second place, and well, that won't do at all, unfortunately. So the Azuma, she's intriguing, I have to confess, but I kind of feel like if you want to play something at tier 7 which has 12-inch guns, why don't you play the Odin? Because the Odin's got more survivable armour and comes with torpedoes. Just food for thought. But yeah, no, she's an interesting addition, but I don't see myself really playing her that much. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I guess you could say that something might change in the future. Going on to the teams, fair enough. Came third in the team, not too bad when you consider I'm reading out of a book most of the time. And getting over 1,000 elite XP. Well, 1,000 XP, I guess you could say. So that's not too bad. Going on to the economy tab and make myself a reasonable amount of profit, I guess you could say, but that is with a rare credit booster and a premium account. Well, if you have enjoyed the review, give it a thumbs up, it's always much appreciated. If you like this content, feel free to subscribe. If you are already a subscriber, let's say thank you very much, guys, for your continued comments, contributions, and support to the channel. Down in the description is the modules and the commander build used during this review. Also, there's the email address for the channel if you wish to send in your own game captures for the community spotlight videos on a Monday, which is Amity Reports and Sea Trials. Also, a link to Patreon if you wish to support the channel on Patreon. As this is a premium ship, then the patrons' names will be appearing on screen now, I hope. Until next time, I'm the Galloping Major, and back to the port.